shit.
It was fun for these guys to get back out here again today and get some work. I was pleased with their energy, their enthusiasm. We had a young guy scrimmage there at the end who I thought was really productive. This is a great time to get some of those guys that don't get a lot of playing time and spend a lot of time on the service teams, some really good work. So that's one of the objectives of today's practice. It'll be one of the objectives of the next practice, which is a week from today, next Saturday, and then we'll really get into Baylor pretty heavy after that. So other than that, that's it.
How much stuff have you guys done so far, just looking at Baylor film-wise?
We've broken down the films for our computer breakdowns, but that's about it. We've been recruiting. This past week, and this next week are pretty heavy into recruiting. And so we've got to spend some time on the road, and then we'll, in between that, we'll get on Baylor.
A little easier taking that 9-4 record and taking it for a spin in the recruiting world.
Yeah, I think you feel like there's an excitement out there about what we're doing. And I don't know if it's the record so much as they've seen us play on TV, and these kids seem to like the style that we're playing with, and the energy and the enthusiasm. I think they recognize that there's good things going on here.
Did you have a certain strategy when planning out these practices that they give you?
Yeah. I mean, we wanted to we went Tuesday and Thursday. You're allowed 15 days on the field. So we went last Tuesday and Thursday early in the morning. We did what we called skills and drills. It was really just getting back out here. Yeah, we didn't have pads on. It was really some 7-on-7 and 1-on-1. And then, like I said, this Saturday today and next Saturday is kind of what I call a generic practice. It's just UCLA versus UCLA. And then what we'll do is we'll spend the 4 days, the 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th, and those will be tough, hard practices for Baylor. We'll put in our game plan. We'll do all the things that we typically do in a normal game week. And then when we get down to San Diego, it's just kind of polishing and tightening things up for us. Because there's so many things going on down there. There's a lot of distractions. We want to get the game plan in while we're here and we're down there. It's kind of what you do for a Super Bowl when it's a 2-week Super Bowl. So that's what we're modeling it after.
How much film Baylor have the guys looked at this point, or is that just
the players?
Later? Yeah.
None. I mean, they may have on their own, but we haven't asked them to look at any yet. I think it's important that they get away for a few days and just recover a little bit, refresh. And what's important this week is finals. Finals start Monday, and we want them to finish strong. They've been doing well in school, and it's important that they get the time to focus on their studies. I mean, 100% on their studies. So that's what we're going to do.
You get the sense that they're over the disappointment of not making the Rose Bowl and excited about this game.
I got that sense. Yeah, I did. Today they had a lot of energy today. You know what? What's great about this age group is they just love playing ball, And there was a lot of disappointment about not making the Rose Bowl, but they like hanging out together and playing ball together, and so we'll go make the best of it.
What you've seen out of Baylor, what's your first impression of that passing game?
I haven't seen anything. The last Baylor game I saw was when they beat University of Washington in the Alamo Bowl and scored about 1,000 points. So, that I don't know that I want to look at it yet. Trying to have a couple good days here before I go look at it. But I met their coach down in San Diego on Wednesday, and he's a really good guy, and I think it'll be a great matchup.
Have you started talking to any of your players who might be eligible to leave early for draft stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've talked to them all, and we'll continue to talk to them. It's a process. But what we want to try to do is give them the best advice possible for them. Keeping in mind that we'd like them all to stay, but we got to give them the best advice for them.
Is it the kind of thing where you're going to use your NFL contacts to get some information for them?
And get them the information that they need. Mel Kiper, he doesn't make a draft pick. He can put out his top 15 in his, first 2 rounds. Guys in the NFL, they don't look at Mel Kiper's pick when they're deciding who they want to pick. Right. So what you have to do is try to help the players divorce themselves from some of the stuff that they read from these guys, these draft experts who are not in a draft room. Mel Kiper does a great job, but he doesn't make the pick. So and I use Mel as just a,
right.
He's the most famous of them all. I'm not picking on Mel. It's just that process. So we just have to help him make the right decision.
Indianapolis took his advice last year.
You remember? You did that? Well, you remember? Wasn't it Mel Kiper and the old GM at Indy that got into it on the air one time? Yeah. No, Mel does a great job, but you know, these kids have to realize that he's not the guy, and Mel and guys like Mel, they don't make the picks. You know, the GMs and the coaches make the picks. So we just have to give them real information.
You never changed the pick after reading what Mel Kiper said?
No. I mean, we use this information. There's a lot of great draft books out there, but no, you make the pick based on what you see. So
How much different is it being on this side of the table now?
it's a lot different. You know, it's 180 degrees different. And I like the fact that I have the experience that I have in the NFL to be able to help these kids as they go forward. And it's not only the ones that are trying to decide if they're going to come out in the draft, but it's the ones that are seniors that have used up their eligibility, trying to help them process through the information of finding an agent. You know, I've dealt with every agent there is. You know, we'll be very involved in helping them prepare for the All-Star games, prepare for the combine, prepare for the workouts. You know, and I think the fact that our staff and Coach Alosi have vast experience doing that is really an advantage for these kids.
Do you have like a rule or a suggestion? Like if they're projected a first rounder, you tell them to go, or if they're second to stay?
No, you know, the NFL will do a draft evaluation for them. I just will talk to them based upon my experience, which is 25 plus years of doing it, and you know what pro guys are looking for in a player and what level of development they need to be at, and there's a lot of factors that go into it, you know. So hopefully they all stay. You know, my gut feeling is that they'll all stay. So.
And what's your advice for Anthony Barr, given that he's so young at his position?
Yeah, well, you know, I haven't had a chance to speak to Anthony in depth, so until I do, I keep that to myself. But you know, I'd like him to come back, but once again, we want to do what's best for him.
For Anthony, I mean, have you ever seen anything like that where someone is just off a board and now he's top 15, top 10?
According to who?
According to yeah.
And that's what's legitimate, is that you say that, and because you know that's what you see, and that's the only thing that you have privy to. So you don't want a guy making a decision based on that. You know, like I said, Mel Kiper and all these other guys, their boards are vastly different than the real boards, and the real boards haven't even been put together yet. You know, they're just starting to gather the information that they need to make the decisions in terms of who they're going to draft. But no, I haven't seen anybody do what he's done. You know, I hope all our guys come back, because I think this is a special team that we're creating, and I want them all to have an opportunity to experience success at this level, at the highest level. You know, and I think we're capable of that as we go forward. And so, you know, my experience, college football is so fun. NFL football is fun, but it's a business. And when these guys step out of this arena and go to the next level, it changes dramatically in terms of their approach to the game. And you know, when a lot of money's staring you in the face, it's hard to sometimes, you know, comprehend that, but it is true. And fortunately, you know, guys like myself and Coach Olbrich and Adrian and, you know, the rest of us in the NFL can explain that to them and still let them know we have their best interests in mind. We're not trying to convince them to go one way or the other. We're just going to present the truth to them. So, it's a unique staff in that way. You know, it's not. There's no staffs in the NCAA that can say that.
Yeah. By what time does the underclassmen have to make up their mind to go to pro?
I don't know. Do you guys know? I don't know. I think I read like the 17th or something. I think I read. Yeah, I think it's. Nick was in December 17th.
No, I think it's in January. It's after the
Yeah.
Bulls.
So, but you know, obviously we want them all to come back. You know, 'cause like I said, I think we're building something really special, and I want them to be a part of it. Plus the college experience, it's different. When you're walking around a campus as opposed to going to a building, it's a different deal now. Really different.
Media's nicer too.
Yeah. No comment. All right. Next Saturday, same time. We'll be out here, and it'll be much like it was today.